Hey guys, welcome to Toomey Presents. Sorry if I'm sweating a lot, it's very hot in this room right now. But let me talk about cable. Because we've seen in the past couple of months, people getting very nostalgic for cable, of all things. Now, I know what the argument is. You know, the modern age of streaming is so similar to cable. You need to have all these subscriptions and it just feels like you're paying the same amount of cable. But, you know, this is not the same as cable. Cable was so annoying. Cable, you had to be in front of your TV at a certain time to watch a TV show. It's not the same. Now, so I have talked about in the past, I want to set up some sort of like NAS project of like having something that would all play things on a loop, like, not a loop, but like having a scheduled thing where I sit down in front of my TV and have something similar. But cable was like annoying at most. And I had in Australia, we had Foxtel, which was run by the Murdoch Corporation, News Corp, and partly Telstra as well, which is their phone company. But, you know, you get to the point where, you get to that point where people are getting nostalgic for cable, but cable is not all that great. And I lived it. I lived through the cable era, so, like, it was not great. It was something we lived with, you know, we didn't know any different. But having the streaming era now, and even with physical media, like, people know my physical media stuff is my preferred viewing method, but having to choose between cable and streaming, I choose streaming every day in terms of over cable. And that's because, while streaming has too much options, people get overwhelmed by the choice on these streaming services. I would like to see something like a Netflix curated channel. If they're talking about live television, they obviously bought the rights to Monday Night Raw for Netflix. But why don't they have a curated collection? Like, have different channels, and you say, okay, you sit in front of this channel, you can leave it on autoplay, and it will queue up another thing and, you know, have certain exclusives in there, you know? I would like to see that on Netflix. That might make Netflix more valuable. But, you know, I think Binge in Australia have something similar because they've just adopted all the Foxtel channels. But, you know, there are certain things where I'm like, cable is not all that great. And yeah, ads are similar. Like, we've got streaming services with ads now. It is a different era. But yes, as similar as the two are, I don't have to sit in front of my TV at 8:30 at night watching Lost, you know? I don't have to do that anymore. I can actually say, you know what? I know Raw's on live at Tuesdays at 12 p.m. in Australia. I can watch it then, or I can watch it, you know, I can watch it later tonight, or I can watch it the next day, or I can watch it on the weekend. I don't necessarily have to be in front of my TV watching that episode. And if I don't want to watch the whole episode, I can watch highlights on YouTube. The eras have changed. And while I am very nostalgic for what was there previously, I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison. I like that cable is getting this resurgence of people getting interested, but it was not all that great to begin with. Now, free-to-air television has also made a little resurgence this year, but that's because people are just like, oh, I just want a free option. I just want someone to tell me you're going to be watching this. Yeah, you'll have ads in there, but you'll be watching this at this time, and we'll tell you. It's just eliminating the choice. You just sit down and see what they're going to give you. You know, lucky dip. But you know, it's kind of interesting that we're going through this thing of like people are getting nostalgic for cable. And I think it's interesting because it is a different era. It is a different thing. It's something that maybe people who are getting nostalgic for it maybe never lived through the cable era. Maybe they didn't live through the blockbuster era either of going to rent movies. It's an interesting concept. But as I said, as someone who lived it, I don't think I would go back to cable. I don't think I would want to have a hardwired box into my wall where a technician actually has to come out, drill into your wall, run a cable out to the internet or whatever, run it out to, not the internet, what's it called? That makes me sound so old. Runs it out to the posts or whatever, runs it out to wherever it goes. And then, you know, cable, that's what it was. It was people running a physical cable to a box in your house. The streaming services is as long as you got internet, you can watch any streaming service. It's not the same era. And I know people get nostalgic for it, but as I said, I will set up something for myself on the CRT where I have some automatically playing channel at some point. Haven't got to it yet, but that's about as close as I would come to going back to cable. Anyways, guys, if you are thinking about getting nostalgic for cable, let me know. I would like to know why you're getting nostalgic for cable. And if you want to watch a video, I'll put a couple over here. Maybe you'll like one. And if not, I'll catch you in the next one. Let me know in those comments what you think. Peace.